Hey, welcome into this Thanksgiving edition of the GASOCast. We are here on a Sunday. We had games Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Monday, Tuesday, potentially Wednesday. And we go Friday, Saturday. So we are squeezing in all of our content. Make sure we are covering the state and getting y'all up to date on what has happened. So, without further ado, best game of the
Wait,
weekends. What?
gobble?
Gobble gobble.
No
Happy
gobble.
Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Thanksgiving week.
Timmons is
I
really
hope y'all
resenting me for putting all
I
this
hope y'all see the
overlay.
I hope y'all see the pie on the screen. That's a really good touch that we have here. But yeah, I'll start. Before I start, I'm under the weather, so I'm a professional and a gamer, so I'm gonna power through this. Like we said, we're shooting on a Sunday, which is wild, but hey, the state needs this content. So here we go. My best game that I saw, I'll start with saying I was at Stony Point versus Duncanville, and I'll say there's no place I would have rather been yesterday than that game. But due to the fact that it was such a blowout, I'm going to go elsewhere with my best game I saw the weekend. But shout out to Stony Point because, I mean, unbelievable.
You
And
talk about them later.
we'll be talking about them a little later. But I'll go with Faith Family versus El Paso Chapin at the Alamo City Hoops Classic. Uh, it was just one of those games where when you're a purist of basketball, you have two 6'10", 6'11", 7-footers on the court, and both teams knew how to post feed them, and both teams knew the other teams couldn't stop them. And we're talking about Big Dorian and Jane Leverett of El Paso Chapin. It was just beautiful basketball. You couldn't stop either of them. They were both going at each other. Just a high level game that went down to the wire with Jazz Henderson hitting a buzzer beater um, to win it. And the play before, one of the Chapin fans was like, "Michael, watch this." I'm like, "I'm watching," and they were down three. Pick and pop, Leverett hits a three to tie it. So just real high level basketball. I'll put the game recap in our description. It's on YouTube. But just I love when guards knew that okay, both of these bigs need to touch every possession, and they were still able to get theirs, but also know where to get the best opportunity to get a bucket. High level basketball.
Blue.
Michael's under the weather, and I can't get my calyx to stay down. So it's the hair day's bad. Um, I'll go with Waco Midway and Katie Tompkins. I know Mass is going to talk about Katie Tompkins also, but they were kind of just stuck in a couple of really big dogfights, and the game against Waco Midway, Scotty Gilroy showed up in a big way, knocking down shots, taking over the game as far as hitting 3-pointers. He fouls out. Uh, Waco Midway is looking at Lawyer Jones as their go-to guy. Guess what, folks? He fouls out. It goes into overtime. Then Katie Tompkins relies on the 3-point shooting of Caleb Schulenberg, who hit three threes in the during the contest, and it was just a fun up and down game that both coaches, they even met at half court after the game and just congratulated each other, because that's kind of like what it's all about at this time, seeing where your teams are, seeing where your players, how they're going to fight adversity throughout the games, especially when both teams have their best players on the sideline. It just was so intriguing to see just guys going out there and competing and just trying to win a ball game.
Yeah, I'll hop in here. SGP versus Katie Tompkins. And Katie Tompkins, we've already touched on Scotty Guillory, just how the shot making is ridiculous. Coach Sanders just saying, let it fly constantly. And they run that Grinnell system where they get up and down, they just fire up threes. I would have loved to play in it in high school. We would have lost a lot of games, though, with me. But I would have gotten my shots up, you best believe. But SGP, their talent just wears you down. And they have so much depth and they play so fast and they defend and they get a lot of transition layups. Ultimately coming up short to North Crowley in the championship. But really, really good game. I called it the most fun game because just the back and forth nature of it. But moving on to our next segment. You should recruit blank because, Michael, who's that guy?
Uh, we'll start with Jonah Johnson from Steel. What do college coaches like? They like size and shooting. Well, he has both. 6'5", confident shooter, can get hot in a hurry. I saw them play Katie May Creek, and he hit 3 or 4 in the first half. Just the confidence, the size, the frame. Played with that Pro Skills EYBL team this summer. so he knows what it's like to play in that competition, in that environment. So he's one of those names down San Antonio that should be on your recruiting radar. 2024, Jonah Johnson.
Yeah, and I saw him as well, and he just puts up shots and makes tough ones, and it's there for Cibolo still. They have a go-to guy, and as I jump into my who you're going to recruit, Katie Davis from North Crowley. What has this guy not done? He's back to
I
back.
like that.
He's back to back Texas Invitational MVP award winner. I mean, playing for Tommy Brackle, Tommy does everything he can possible as a coach, not to bring them together as a unit and win basketball games, but also getting the names out there for college coaches. And this is one that I think many a time have put out there. I mean, he's their best rebounder, their best defender, their best scorer. He plays above the rim. And what did he do the other day? He won. He's a winner. If you look at the clips on Twitter, what did he do? He stole the ball with about 6 seconds left, down by 1, lays it in against SGP, and SGP launches a 50-footer that hits off the back, but North Crowley comes away with the victory there, and another Texas Invitational because of Katie Davis.
Yeah, he's a really, really good player, and he needs to be recruited. Like, period, end of story. I don't know if y'all saw the Texas Invitational Twitter. It was just like Katie Davis highlight after Katie Davis. He did a 360.
I saw that
in their quarterfinals game. He was just awesome, and just par for the course for North Crowley. All they do is win, and we've talked about that. And that they're going up in the rankings. Ain't no doubt about that. I'm going to move to a kid that was in our system. Lyndon had seen him. I got a chance to see him. Trey Lewis of Conroe Grand Oaks has all the traits of a Division I point guard: speed, athleticism, shot making. They would run a ball screen with him, and I just remember saying to the defender, like, just in my head, I'm like, don't go under. He went under. Trey Lewis, like, from anywhere. He really showed off what he can do, and the explosion, the quick twitch off the bounce. He's really, really impressive, and he is going up significantly in our rankings, and he needs to be on your radar, college coaches.
Hey, one thing I noticed about him, he has a smile on his face. He's having fun. If it goes in, great. He's laughing. He's cheering with his fan. If he misses it, he has a smile on his face because I think deep down he knows, I'm going to get you the next play.
Next one's going in. Yeah, really liked him.
Yeah, for me, Chaz Beagle of Lake Travis. Obviously, the big name all over the place that you've seen is Hudson Greer, and for a good reason. But as another 6'5" kid that's plays like a point guard. I mean, he can make every pass. The one thing I think our whole staff's always been like, maybe he's too unselfish. Well, that's changed. He's starting to hit the lefty three ball. He gets into the paint. His pace is so great where he can just freeze the defense and then burst, finish at the rim. He's playing with so much confidence offensively, and just that size you can't ignore. So when you're looking at Lake Travis, they have so many guys to like, and I think with how much Hudson Greer's blown up, Beagle's been one of those guys that's like, all right, I'm going to go alongside of you and improve my stock every time we go out. And Lake Travis ended up winning that Alamo City Classic Championship. So, and Chaz Beagle was a big part of it.
You know, I'm going to jump over to another Central Texas kid because, you know, that's just what we did this week. And we just moved around so much and we wound up seeing a lot of Central Texas. And my guy is Camden Cowgill. You know, I'm going to steal from San Antonio Brennan. I'm going to steal a little something that from Mass that we've talked about. And please jump in whenever you feel like you can, is that there was no Kingston Flemings this weekend for San Antonio Brennan. And so Camden, I go watch Camden against Klein Kane, and he goes out and scores 32 points. I believe hits 8 3-pointers. There's a narrative out there, Mass, and you brought it up. When Kingston Flemings is on the court, dishing the ball around, setting up his teammates, scoring, defending, there's a narrative of like, man, that guy has great chemistry with his teammates, and that's going to translate. The other narrative is Camden Cowgill is only as good as he is because he has chemistry. Those are two different tones, and I'm just going to say it right now. Camden Cowgill can play, and he proved it this weekend that he doesn't need Kingston, though they need each other. Let's face it. I'm just saying for the argument of the tone of chemistry is great when Kingston's out there and he's good because of the chemistry.
Yeah,
No,
it's
Camden
exactly
can
what you're saying. They need each
Yeah.
other to get to the place they ultimately want to be in winning state. But Camden Calgill, all the noise around, he is a player. And we got to walk in. I watched a half. You stayed and watched the full thing. Me and Sam hit the road. And I honestly saw all I needed to see. He was phenomenal. He just hitting shots, hitting the floater. And I was really interested to see how that Brennan group would respond without Kingston. And they just answered the question. They ultimately didn't win every game they played, but they showed just how tough they are even without Kingston. And great point. Big fan of Camden Calgill. Really, really made plays and impressed. I'm going to hop over to Dallas. Austin Gooseby, Melissa. When you see some of these players as freshmen, it's real easy to see their talent, and it's real easy to see the things that they need to grow in, right? And some things I felt Austin needed to grow in were just on ball decision making and like consistency shooting the ball and when he's shooting the ball. Just, this is a freshman being on varsity, and I go and see him as a sophomore. He's played football, so he's clearly been focused on football as well. But everything's gotten better, which tells me that he is a committed hooper. Like everything, he's checking every box. He played point guard. He made great decisions. He was unselfish. I would say too unselfish at some times. Coach Fryer was just telling me how great he's been. The energy was amazing. The shot making was amazing. I just check. I've seen all this growth while playing football. Just imagine if he ever does quit football. Oh my Lord. Austin Gooseby solidified himself in a high level tier for me in the 26 class. And I'm really interested to see when I put pen to paper where I have him in the 26 class.
Love it.
Yeah. Michael, X Factors, two players that showed up big alongside kind of their more noteworthy counterpart.
Yeah. So I'm going to look at that San Antonio Harlan team. Going to it, I want to see the guards. You have Knowledge Carter, you have Kalen Hargrove, you have Josiah Jones, the freshman. But 6'7" Justin Nelson stood out. And right away, I was like, okay, if Harlan wants to be for real, like this kid is going to have to like be a force inside for him. And the guards, work with him. They were getting after it a little bit, back and forth on the team, but they want the best out of each other. And as soon as I watched Kalen Hargrove and Justin Nelson get into a little bit of a heated debate about something, they both elevated their game, and that's what you want. They know Justin Nelson needs to be a player for him, and he took that game over that I saw when they played Plano West. Soft touch inside, finishes well, rebounds well. For a team that wants to run and gun, he's like the perfect, like not traditional big man, but at 6'7", he does a lot of good things for him. So I was very intrigued leaving that game with Justin Nelson's game.
I'll jump on over to Josh Larry at Pasadena, South Houston. Maybe he is the go-to guy of this team, but we talk a lot about Jordan Buckner. We talk a lot about the head coach Frank Watson and what he even means to that team. But Josh Larry goes out there onto the court, and he is athletic. He has a burst. As soon as he gets the ball, he can get it across half court in a hurry. He can get to the rim and finish. He'll drop threes. I believe he was once a football player, so he's got that lean body that's just so strong. He's physical. He's got the mentality to go up against just about anybody. And I just came away thinking, wow, this kid is going to catch the attention of one college coach on the right day, and he's going to wind up with a scholarship.
I'll hop in. I did a double, but y'all are going to know exactly why I chose to do a double. If you've watched Austin Westlake, they got a lot of notable players. They're very balanced, but I want to shed some light on their 2 point guards, Gavin Paul and Donovan Lee. Both just are the glue that keeps everything running. They make great decisions. They're heady. They take care of the ball, and they execute for a team that is just so solid year in and year out, and they're just carrying that banner of winning, executing, and making others better around them. So big fans of Gavin Paul, Donovan Lee. Westlake's just such a fun watch.
Yeah, I'm going to move to Landon Short of Round Rock Stony Point. Obviously, we all saw what Josiah Mosley did yesterday. But
How many dunks did he
just
have? Like 7?
something like that, yeah.
It was ridiculous.
Landon Short's ability to knock down the three and 1 threes, finishing at the rim through contact, he was just like he was the gamer on the court. Like he wanted all the smoke. And so excited to see a guy that our staff loved at the GASO with ATX lockdown all summer long. See him in that type of environment, that type of big game, and really just tells me, yeah, I mean, this kid can play for real. And I mean, he's one of those guys that is going to be a rankings mover for us. Big time performance when, Josiah's 33 or 35 points is going to be the story, and rightfully so. But Landon Short, that game recap's also on YouTube that I'll post a link. He was a bad boy yesterday for Stony Point.
Yeah, Mason White, watching him for Denton Geyer and how he's changed his body. Part of that is just maturity, but he goes 94 feet. Whether he's going to defend you, he'll bring the ball up. He will run the lane and try to get open. And he's just a guard that is very dependable for Grant Long at Geyer. And so is he the main focus point of this team? I think there's a couple other guys on that squad that you can give the ball to on any night to go score. But Mason's very steady. He's calm. He kind of knows what he needs to get accomplished once he has the ball on the wing. Am I going to just attack, or am I going to pull it back out, feed my teammates, and go down screen, or get some time, maybe go out and flare and catch and shoot? Just overall, just a very smart game.
Sticking in Dallas, Quintel Wilson and McKinney. McKinney has a lot of good players. We've talked about Malik Archie, rightfully so. But Quintel hasn't gotten the notary that I believe he should. His assist-to-turnover ratio is outrageous. It's north of 4-1 right now. He's a high percentage three-point shooter, plays amazing defense, really high IQ point guard. Like, I don't know what more you want from that position. A guy who takes care of the ball, can shoot, and defend. Like, let's hop on board here. All right, rankings and movers. We're going to talk about a player and one team who will take a leap after what they did this weekend. Michael, tip us off.
Yeah, so I mean, I'll make this very easy. When Stony Point, when you host Duncanville and you beat them by 25, if you're not one, then you're going to move up somewhere. So Stony Point's going to move up the rankings. We'll have the discussion to see where they fall. But yeah, it's going to be an interesting conversation because that was such an impressive performance. And then my player, Cameron Marks of John Paul, the second. Yeah, I put a tweet out there that he reminded me of Kyrie Irving. And no shade to Cameron Marks. You're not Kyrie Irving, but your mannerisms, the way you play, your feel for the game. There's a lot of Kyrie Irving to it, but multiple 30-point games, getting wherever he wanted at the Alamo City Hoops Classic. Just a overall brilliant performance by Cameron Marks alongside Bryce McLaughlin.
I just have to, before I jump into my team and my player, that was a huge hot take of Stony Point at number 3. They go out and they beat number 4, Duncanville, that we just had moved up the rankings on Friday in the GASO fast break. And so ahead of them is Plano East and Beaumont United. I can't wait for the discussion. This is going to be fun because, you know what? I think Stony Point kind of proved a point. They proved something this weekend. My team, North Crowley, I said it before on might have been on a couple of hoops that where they're on the outside, number 13, not quite a top 10 team, but we knew that this was going to eventually be a topic of discussion of them moving in there and they go out and win the Texas Invitational, as we said earlier. Tommy Brack was going to get 25 to 30 wins this year. North Crowley is a program. It's a system that they are built to go deep into the playoff in Region 1. And it kind of looks like, once again, that straight line that they stay on and they're very steady. They're winning ball games. My player that's going to move up, I think that we talked about in the office, is that with Jaden Leverett, 6'9", 6'10" at Chapin, we kind of looked at him as the next guy that was going to take a step up, but we just wanted to see what he was going to do against the competition, and I think he has risen to the occasion many times already in this short season in a week and a half of basketball, and his name is starting to circulate. But I'm glad I'm part of this GASO staff because we've seen him many a times, and we've seen his growth. We've seen where he was before. Now we see where he is now. And Michael, you can even speak on him and just his overall game is it's really exploding.
Yeah, if we had to pick one like stock riser from every single player I saw, it would be him. Just the ability to shoot from the three, defensively, offensively, the feet, everything you want, and like a true big that's also does the things that the non-traditional bigs do, which is shoot it, runs like a gazelle. I mean, it's just everything you want. And when we do our next round of 2025 rankings, y'all boys are gonna have to come catch me because he's gonna be very on my ranking list.
I actually saw him on Friday of last year at the Coppell event, and he's put on some weight. He totally it's changed since then. But I remember calling Blue and being like, "Bro, there's a 6'10" kid, like got a chance. I need you to do the Blue Whisper thing and tell me how high he's going to be because I think he's got a real chance here." But as for mine, my team is Pearl and Dawson. Um, they're really, really, really fun. They have four sophomores who are very promising, led by Malik Simius. And this kid will just go at you. Their run in the Pasadena Invitational ultimately got cut short by SGP, but I like the makeup of their team. Like I said, they're anchored by four sophomores, and then they have two football players who are both committed to Texas Tech, in Edward Smith, who's 6'8", and Charles Anderson, who's 6'8", that are bought in. So just a incredible kind of like culmination of talent, and then you throw in Coach Bari, who won his 400th game, and for good reason. Those kids play hard, they play fun and fast and free, and they get after it. My player is Jalen Haynes, Hebron. I think he's probably one of the best 2024s available. We have him ranked way too low. 6'5", gets wherever he wants off the bounce. Incredible in transition, finishes at the rim. Didn't shoot it much, but I saw the free throws, and the shot is pretty nice and pure. He's got a lot to like. And college coaches, if you're looking for a 24 scoring guard, Jalen Haynes from Hebron is your guy. Go get him. And then our last segment, okay? Everyday guys. We're going to pick teams that you just want to go see every day. You're cool with seeing them every day. You can just run that movie back, kind of like my son watches Toy Story, like the same 30 minutes every week. Who are your everyday guys, Mike?
Yeah, El Paso Chapin, I just mentioned. Coach Lewis does a great job with them. The defensive side, their ability to get what they want on the offensive side, just beautiful basketball to watch. And then Lake Travis, when all five guys on the court can get the rebound and push it, makes for a lot of fun and exciting finishes at the rim. They're just running up and down. Adrian Mathis, Hudson Greer, Chaz Beagle, Jaden Thomas. They were all just able to get what they wanted, and it's almost like the Mighty Ducks, the Flying V, when they just kind of glide up and down that court, and everybody can make plays, and it's just very fun to watch.
I'll hop in here.
Okay,
sorry. Plano East. Sign me up for Plano East every time because it doesn't matter who they're playing. They're like a chameleon. They can adjust to whoever they're playing and do it as good and better. Their baseline is an A. Like if you're ever going to beat them, you're going to have to hope that they play below an A, and you're going to have to play an A+ game. They have six guys who shoot over 37, 38% from the three-point line. DJ Hall is just a star inside. He's so tough to stop. And, they just get it done. I'm really interested, to go watch them every time because it doesn't matter what type of game you're going to play. They can match it and do it better. And then Byron Nelson, two bigs that are really fun, and Jackson Beauchamp and Braden Allward. They just get it done in the interior, and they both can stretch it out and knock down a shot. And then they have a freshman, Romeo Watts, who has a lot of length and a lot to like about his game. And he's kind of what I was talking about with Austin Gooseby earlier. You see the framework of what he's gonna be, and he just flashes at times, and you're like, wow, that kid's got a little something. So it's easy for those. Blue, why don't you wrap us up here?
Yeah, I think this is perfect for Laredo Nixon as their Twitter handle, I believe, is Brotherhood. And these guys go out and compete together. They went 2-2 over the weekend in Alamo City's Classic, but they were in your face all game long. They were going to press you. They're going to shoot their threes. You got to give credit to three of their guys of Mason Vela, Julius Garcia, and Yuli Torres. Is that they went out and they battle people. They stare you down in the face and say, "We're coming to get you," because they don't necessarily look the part, but add the hard work on both ends of the court, the 3-point, the ability to hit the 3-pointer, and it's just they're fun to watch. And you talk about everyday guys; they have to be everyday guys, and they're one of the better teams down in Laredo. And then finally with Amarillo, Mass, it's just poetry in motion, isn't it? They just sit there and they're gonna run some type of Princeton offense. I mean, that's
All
kind of
doesn't touch the
generic.
floor.
And if you watch their eyes as a team, they always have. There's so much action off of their offense that where if they miss one, they can get to the other man who goes out on a flare. If they don't get to the cutter. But it's more just teamwork of where they are. Zach Brown was phenomenal yesterday, playing against Austin Westlake in the championship game. So it's just they're just a complete team that starts at the top with Jason Pillen as their head coach and just goes all the way through the program.
Hey, that's going to wrap up this Thanksgiving edition of the GASOcast. We are going to be going out to games tomorrow, Tuesday, Thursday, or Friday, Saturday. We're going to be all around all week, so make sure that you're following us on Twitter. We'll try and provide updates. Blue and I have a couple of hoops coming at you. We'll probably drop when, Blue. Hopefully Wednesday.
We'll record Tuesday after we're done in Frisco, and then I'll drop it Wednesday.
Awesome. We'll drop that Wednesday, and then we're going to have a special little the 5 best next gens in our newsletter, which will be a fun one. Kind of our 5 favorites from who we've seen of the tournament season. We're doing a lot, so join on the newsletter, subscribe to our GASOcast, and make sure you're following us for all high school season updates at this time. That's going to do it for today. Have a great Thanksgiving. Be grateful. Peace.